this technology something that can really make an impact to not just help people age in place, but just to improve their quality of life, to help them have a healthier and better way to age.
We asked over 100 caregivers if they would use this device or recommend it to somebody else in their practice, and 90% said yes, that they would.
Michael, you have the envelope.
And the winner is...
From the Zoomerplex in historic Liberty Village, the Zoomer with Libby Znaimer.
Welcome to the Zoomer, a special edition. I'm Libby Znaimer. We all know that Canadians are living longer, but what can be done to make our lives easier and safer as we age? More and more, the answer is technology. AgeWell has been at the forefront of some of these technologies. The organization launched the AgeWell National Impact Challenge Startup Edition to recognize startup companies that are using innovation to improve the quality of life for Zoomers. Today, we find out the regional winner of the Toronto competition. But before we dive in, let's tee up the topic.
Retirement for today's Zoomers will look nothing like it has in years past, thanks to rapidly changing and innovative technology. And Zoomers are embracing it like never before. 70% of Canadians believe that incorporating more tech into their personal health care will help them to prevent illnesses. And a majority believe technology and artificial intelligence could help solve issues affecting our health system. Today, 89% of older adults will live with at least one chronic condition, while 85% report saying they would like to age at home. For these reasons and more, Zoomers are well positioned to reap the benefits of advancing technology.
I'm here with Michael Krastowski, the Business Development and Industry Relations Manager with AgeWell, a CARP partner. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Okay, well, shake. Michael, how big was the field and what were you looking for in this competition?
Yeah, so we actually got applications from startups from across Canada, coast to coast, and really they spanned a wide range of things like activity and staying healthy, healthcare products, things to help people age in place. And really what we were looking for are kinds of innovators that are going to be leading Canada and Canadian startups in improving life for older adults and caregivers.
But what kind of things specifically would make somebody stand out as a finalist?
So we were looking for a few factors there. One of them would be, is this technology something that's unique and novel, or is there already something out there that's doing the same thing? And then furthermore, is this technology something that can really make an impact, not just in the long term, but in the short term, to not just help people age in place, but just to improve their quality of life and to help them have a healthier and better way to age.
Okay, thanks. When we come back, we'll hear from the finalists of the AgeWell National Impact Challenge. Stay tuned.
We want to come from a preventative angle where we don't want trouble to happen in your trip, but rather using the data that we collect, give you a trip where it's completely hassle-free.
Welcome back. I'm here with more from the AgeWell National Impact Challenge. Hi, Bin Liu.
Hi.
You're from Immersive, and you do technologies that are for the visually impaired.
Yes, that's right.
Show us what you got.
All right. Hi, everyone. So our company is called Immersive, and our mission is to empower those living with vision loss. Ladies and gentlemen, there's over 300 million people who are visually impaired across the world. And vision impairment becomes more prevalent with age. So we as the company wanted to address the orientation mobility issue for the sight impaired community. And the two problems that we've identified is one, on a more local scale, canes and guide dogs go under a lot of things. Therefore, we needed to create something that can protect their upper body in conjunction with the existing devices. And two, navigation was never truly built for pedestrians. It has been built and optimized for car travel, and that's all focused on efficiency and speed. And most of that stuff is not relevant to pedestrians. And we're missing so much data that's pedestrian relevant. Anything physical that's on the sidewalk or any walkable space can inherently affect someone, any pedestrian's trip. And this is especially true for people who depend more heavily on assisted navigation. We started off with our first product. It's called the Bicep. I'm actually wearing one right now. It's a very small and discreet wearable sensor, uses ultrasound, detects any obstacle in your direct path, and based on the distance, it grades vibration that speeds up as you get closer to something. So it's an extra layer of protection for sight-impaired individuals that are already using canes or guide dogs. And for people who are low vision, this is an extra layer of protection as well on their blind spot. Currently, the Bicep is being distributed in 24 countries with 36 distributors. And using the revenue we're generating from our first device, we're tackling now the bigger second problem, which is navigation. No pedestrian is the same. And we cannot create a solution that's the one solution that fits all, especially in terms of accessibility. You cannot group together, wheelchair accessibility or vision accessibility, related accessibility as one thing, because everyone has different mobility skills and they have different travel preferences. So what we focused on is building a crowdsourcing platform where users decide what data is relevant to themselves. That's on any walkable space. They can tag in the data, and we compile all of that into our database. And then in the back end, we built a proprietary artificial intelligence routing engine that actually tracks individual users' travel preferences. So with every action you make and any deviations from the path we created for you, we learn what you like to do. So ultimately, we wanted to create the most personalized navigation for everyone. We want to come from a preventative angle where we don't want trouble to happen in your trip, but rather using the data that we collect, give you a trip where it's completely hassle-free. Currently, we are partnered with the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, not just for the Bicep, but also for a pilot coming up in September to test out our app. And we'll be doing some collaborations on the data collection side as well. And we're lucky to have support from many organizations over the years, and our research partners in Tenure College, who we're doing a lot of research on routing engines with at the moment. So I'd ask everyone here, regardless of the outcome, to really join us and create a more accessible world for not just the Asian population, but anyone with any disabilities in general. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you something, Ben. What motivated you to design this product?
So my father actually has glaucoma, and this project started when I was just finishing university. And I was trying to look for something that he could potentially use, because with glaucoma, you only lose vision. There's no known cure at the moment, right? And he's very stubborn, and I found nothing that could work. So I'm an engineer. I just started getting my hands dirty.
Can you demo that for us?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. It's a very simple-to-use device. This was meant to be a bridge to existing things, and it defaults at a 1-meter range mode. So right now, I'm detecting nothing, and as soon as I turn towards you, the vibration starts. And this is something that's just very straightforward. It gives you that extra layer of protection on your upper body.
Really interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For anybody with dementia, would this not be an unsettling thing for them to wear? And can they cope with this?
So that's something we've thought about. And honestly, we started in the vision impairment space because this is the most this is a space we're most familiar with. But we've thought about, and that's actually more on the mapping side of things, because using geolocationing and actually using that same routing engine we're using to sort of learn users' travel habits with things like dementia, right? You can actually create that profile of what a usual travel pattern is. And we can link that in the backend, which we're doing right now with CNIB to link it to the O&M trainers for sight-impaired individuals training. So on that end, we can link that profile to caregivers who are granted permission by the patient or their family, who can keep track of if there's any variations with what the usual travel habits or patterns are, to notice anything at an early stage. And that's what we're hoping to eventually work on that end. Not by us creating differentiators in the technology, but by simply partnering with the right organizations who can use the tool that we provide, right? Thank you.
Okay, great questions. Thank you so much for that presentation.
All right, thanks again, everyone.
And good luck.
Thank you.
I'm here with Daniel Bourdonnais. You're the founder of Bicep.
That's correct.
Tell us about your innovation.
So my name is Daniel Bourdonnais, I'm the founder of Bicep. So Bicep is a company that creates new technologies and devices to help our senior and disabled population be more ambulatory and more mobile. I'm a kinesiologist by trade, and I've been working as a kinesiologist for many years across many different facilities. And in all the facilities I've practiced as a kinesiologist, the manner in which we did our ambulation and mobility training, I felt relatively unsafe and inefficient. In fact, I've isolated 4 problems with the way we do ambulation today, and there are 2 personal problems and 2 organizational problems. So within the personal problem, we know that fear of falling and falls is an epidemic within our seniors. And in fact, last year, we know that the Canadian government spent over $5 billion on fall-related accidents with assistive devices. That in turn increases their fear of falling, which brings us to our second point, is that it actually decreases their self-confidence, increases their sedentary time, and increases the onset of medical ailments. Now, within the organizational side, and what I felt as a kinesiologist is oftentimes there was 2 to 3 individuals completing this ambulation training. First of all, it takes away the dignity from these seniors and people within the disabled population, but as well, it also is very expensive and very costly to these healthcare organizations when they do have the funding. Lastly, because we can't have those other healthcare professionals available, we're often left on doing these transfers and lifting these patients ourselves, which can lead to workplace injuries within the organization. So a solution that we created is the ARM, the Ambulation Retraining Mobility Mechanism. This device attaches any wheelchair to any walker, allows the patient to walk with the walker while a wheelchair trails behind them, eliminating the need for somebody else to push the wheelchair from behind and follow them, saving their dignity. Furthermore, it has lateral bars that provide proprioceptive information so that when they're on the verge of tipping, they can feel it and try to regain their balance. We have a fantastic team around us. So myself as a CEO, and then we have Dr. David Deiter, who's one of Canada's leading spinal cord injury researchers out of Brock University. We have David D'Angelo, who is our Vice President of Sales, and he had one previous acquisition with a massive manufacturing plant and got bought out by one of his competitors. And then Dave Robitaille, who's been a part of IBM for the last 29 years in their innovation department. So is there a market capability for this? So we know in Canada and the US, there's over 24,000 long-term care facilities, retirement homes, and hospitals. We want to target 40% of those facilities, selling 5 units for each of them, giving us a $24 million short-term goal. Now, because we hold the IP in Canada and the US for utility patent of attaching any wheelchair to any walker, we don't have any direct competitors as of now. However, we assume that once we bring this device onto market, that some of the major wheelchair and walker manufacturers will soon try to create versions of their own, but by that time we'll be in our 2nd and 3rd generation models anyways and always stay ahead of the competition. In regards to commercialization, so we want to continue manufacturing these here in Ontario. We manufacture with 3D printed parts as well as aluminum telescopic poles, and we want to continue building our distribution network. So right now we're in conversation with 4 of the largest wheelchair manufacturer and home healthcare companies in all of North America, and we want to continue building that distribution network. Lastly, we want to continue going to these hospitals and long-term care homes that we've been going to, most notably Juravinski Hospital in Hamilton, showcasing the device and generating demand for this device in the workplace. So last year we did a research study with Brock University in the Niagara region, and we tested over 60 senior individuals using our ARM device compared to that traditional method. And our results showed that patients, the senior patients, were actually walking 24% faster with the ARM device. They were walking 15% further with the ARM device. But perhaps the most notable stat on that is their self-confidence went up 48% when using our ARM device compared to that traditional method. Furthermore, their fear of falling went down 20% using our ARM device. And on a separate note, we asked over 100 caregivers if they would use this device or recommend it to somebody else in their practice, and 90% said yes, that they would. Lastly, I just want to showcase if we were successful in winning this pitch competition, what we would use the funding for. So the majority of the funding will be used to gain commercialization, getting to market. So materials such as our 3D printed filament and aluminum, as well as buying more 3D printers so we can produce them a lot quicker. The rest of the funding will be used in marketing and trade shows such as the Abilities Expo in Toronto, showcasing our device and hopefully getting potential buyers. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. I'll gladly accept any questions right now.
What inspired you to do this?
So I was working as a kinesiologist, and on a daily basis, I was working in long-term care homes. I had to walk patients on a daily basis. Now, in order to do it safely here in Canada and the US as well, you need to have one therapist walking with the patient, another therapist pushing the wheelchair from behind. And due to the government funding, we didn't always have that person there. So these patients are only getting walked maybe once or twice a week, which just isn't enough.
How much should it be?
It's every single day. You should be getting up and moving every single day if you can. It's so important for cardiovascular health, for lower extremity strength. So I decided to put my thinking cap on and got together with my grandfather, who was a tool and die maker, and we created our first prototype of the arm. And ever since then, it's been taken off across Canada and the US and generating a lot of interest.
I love that you got together with your grandfather, but can you show us? Give us a little demo?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just put this. So the way the arm device works, and I have to stress that most of the times you're still working with one therapist. We don't want to promote total independence. We just want to eliminate the need for somebody else. So it's very simple. It clicks in and out, and then it can lift up. So the patient can either do this themselves, or if the patient's in the wheelchair, they would just grab the device, put it in the pinhole here, connect, and away they go. So now they can transfer themselves from the wheelchair to the walker, and then walk with the wheelchair and walker. Now, there's two modes to it. When the arms are down, there's no turning capabilities for the patient. Because some patients, you don't want them to turn, you just want to walk straight, sit down, turn around, and walk back. Now, when we lift these arms up and around, now the person has a full turning ability. So depending on the person's individual capabilities, there's different modes for them. Furthermore, we also assembled these legs over here that can drop down and allow the patient to either transfer themselves directly from their wheelchair to their walker and take off, or they can do the simple exercises that they do, such as practicing their sit-to stance, practicing their leg raises, heel raises, squats, any of the exercises they would do in the physiotherapy department in long-term care or in a hospital, they can do right in the comfort of their own ward or own room as well.
Okay, judges, what are your questions?
I'd love to take the first question. I'm curious about how much influence does dragging the wheelchair do to the senior or the person that's already having issues? And has that been a consideration?
Absolutely. So, I mean, as you may or may not know, a lot of the wheelchairs that we use today are very efficient and almost self-propelled. You start pushing them, they start going right away. So, according to the research we've done, the fact that the patients were actually walking faster and further means that perhaps, yeah, they are pushing more weight and they are using a more robust system, but because their confidence shot up so high and their fear of falling went down, it almost offset the extra weight and actually started walking faster and further with this device.
Okay, out of time. Nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
All right, thank you guys.
When we come back, more from the Age Well National Impact Challenge. That's next.
We've personalized the device based upon the geometry of the individual woman, so more women can live and age with dignity and grace.
Welcome back. I'm here with more from the Age Well National Impact Challenge. I'm here with Derek Sham from Kazem Medical. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And tell us about your invention.
Yeah, so we're developing personal pelvic health.
Okay.
Cheers. Good evening, everybody. My name is Derek, as she mentioned. 6 years ago, my grandmother developed pelvic floor disorders. Couldn't really get her the care that I thought she deserved. And hence, she's what inspired me to start Kazem on our mission for personal pelvic health. Pelvic floor disorders are common, growing because of the aging population, and also drastically underserved. They affect 1 in 4 adult women, 1 in 3 by the time they're 60, and half of all women by 80 years of age. They include prolapse, which is the descent of pelvic organs within the vaginal canal, and also urinary and fecal incontinence. $20 billion a year in the US alone is spent on direct care for pelvic floor disorders. Now that includes surgery on one end and physical therapy and what are known as pessaries. Pessaries are intravaginal prosthetics used to support the pelvic floor. They're one of the oldest documented medical devices dating back 4,000 years to the Egyptians and haven't really changed in 50 years. They're essentially fit by clinical trial and error and come in 100 different shapes and sizes. For clinicians, this is labor intensive, creates inventory issues, and is relatively unprofitable. For patients, the process of fitting and also maintenance, alongside they lack performance in terms of optimizing comfort and support while reducing various forms of incontinence. Half of all women wearing pessaries will decide after 2 years to stop wearing them and enter elderly care services, wear diapers and whatnot. If they do decide to wear it for longer, it's super common to get complications such as tissue erosion, infections, bleeding, and chronic pain. Now, surgery can solve some of these problems, but it has its own risks. There's over 100,000 lawsuits in the US going on right now that sparked a Netflix documentary and also a 60 Minutes expose and 30% 5-year reoperation rate. We're personalizing therapies for unique bodies and needs. What we've developed is a novel ultrasound technique to quantify the female pelvic floor, and we're combining it with AI and 3D printing to create Gynothotics, the world's first custom gynecological prosthetic to treat pelvic floor disorders, with the initial goal of eliminating guesswork, improving comfort and support, while reducing lifestyle impact and complications so more women can live and age with dignity and grace. From a market standpoint, we've done our research. We surveyed over 300 patients and interviewed 50 clinicians. And for prolapse alone, pre-reimbursement, we estimate $150 million market potential. Now, as a second stage, we'll also tackle incontinence, which then brings the market to $500 million. Now, with reimbursement, the product category potential is similar to that of customized orthotics and customized orthodontics in the billions of range. These are one of our 3D printed Gynothotics. We started printing the Gynothotics last winter. And what's different about Gynothotics versus current pessaries is I'll show you a current pessary. It's essentially a very simple shape. Now, the intravaginal cavity is by no way circular where this thing sits, so why are these devices circular? So what we've done is we've personalized the device based upon the geometry of the individual woman, alongside customizing urethral compression to stop urinary incontinence. Myself, I come from a urology background, which is where I met Ali. Ali did his PhD studying the pathophysiology of the pelvic floor at Cleveland Clinic. Golia Mary joins us from a world-leading medical imaging lab, currently driving our medical testing out in London, Ontario. We're super grateful for the world-leading advisors that join us as a team. They include clinicians, doctors, nurses, physical therapists, scientists, engineers, and also a patient advocacy group. With the funds, we will run a clinical study for Gynothotics on 10 patients within 6 months. That drives us towards reaching product launch by 2022 in North America, globally by 2023, which meets our ultimate goal of improving the lives of 1 million women by 2026. At Kazem, we're creating a future that combines AI with ultrasound and 3D printing to improve the lives of millions. Join us in our mission for personal pelvic health. Thank you.
How does AI fit into your system?
So the AI helps us pull automatic measurements from the ultrasound images. Because for us, it's not commercially viable to have an engineer look at the images, go figure out the model, design it, and then 3D print it. So with the AI, and really based upon data science first, and then application of AI once we get a large enough data set, what we're doing is we're taking ultrasound images, automatically segmenting or looking at the image to figure out what's going on, taking measurements, and then inputting them into a parametric model that can be adjusted based upon size and shape of that individual woman.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck to you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
When we come back, more from the Age Well National Impact Challenge. That's next.
Grows 365 days per year using no soil, 95% less water than traditional growing and no pesticides.
Welcome back. I'm here with more from the Age Well National Impact Challenge. Now I'm here with Connor Titt, and you are the co-founder of Just Vertical. What is that about?
Yes, well, I can't wait to tell you all about it. But I'd like to start by talking about someone far more important than me, and that's my grandmother. I was fortunate to grow up, like many of you, with a great-grandmother, and every time I went over to her house, she asked me the question that a lot of you probably get. Are you hungry? And I say question lightly because no matter what I said to that question, I was getting fed. She would always come out, here are the tomatoes I grew in the garden. I put basil from the garden in this pesto here. But unfortunately, as she aged, she couldn't garden anymore. She lost access to this hobby like many seniors do. And to me, that was unacceptable. My name's Connor Titt. I'm a co-founder at Just Vertical, where we build furniture that feeds you. This is how we're doing it, is with Ava, your own personal gardener. And the reason that this works so well for seniors is that you can put it anywhere inside. It's got its own grow light. It grows 365 days per year using no soil, meaning for somewhere like a senior's home, there's no worry about bugs or pests that there are with traditional growing of food in there. And there's no labor needed. So the system is almost completely automated. It waters itself. The lights turn on and off automatically. And just as a kicker, it does all of this growing 2 weeks faster than outdoors while using 95% less water than traditional growing and no pesticides. Now, you don't need to take my word for it. We validated the business with over $280,000 in revenue, with the first $200K of that being bootstrapped. We validated this from a scientific point of view. We really approached this with seniors from a perspective of horticultural therapy. And then working with a U of T research team, we validated that our system, the AVA, fits within the literature as we assumed and actually showed wellness benefits for people interacting with it on a daily basis. And from an impact point of view, we've already saved over 2 million liters of water and eliminated 100 million miles of food transit. Of course, the happiness validation, I say, look at Linda down there smiling away, having a great time with our team as we ran this study. Now, this is a massive market. This is actually the fastest growing segment of the home and garden market, is indoor growing, set to be worth $5.8 billion by 2022. And now, we're not the only ones in this space, but we differentiate ourselves primarily in 3 ways. The first is through science. Compared to any of our competitors, we can grow more food, we can grow it faster, we can grow it to bigger sizes, and we do it a lot easier than all of our competitors. The second is in design. We're the only people who have approached this as building it as a piece of furniture, something that fits into your existing lifestyle. Most of our competitors have either things on the ground, which are inaccessible or ugly, or tabletop versions that come with a lot of obtrusive light and water. And all this comes down to the feeling, is we've designed something for you, something that's permanent, something you can do with dignity, while our competitors simply design gadgets. Myself and my co-founder, we met while we were doing our Masters of Science at the University of Toronto Mississauga's Institute for Management and Innovation. Kevin previously was the lead plant health specialist for one of the leading indoor farm companies globally. Well, my background is in big ag as well as in the charity sector. So we bring a classic mix of business and science. We're fortunate to be joined on our board by our lead investor, who's got over 30 years in manufacturing experience, who has been absolutely incredible for us on the hardware side. We've got a 5-stage distribution go-to-market strategy. Currently in Toronto, we're on about stage 4. And with this money, if we win, if we're fortunate enough to win, you can be confident in us that, 1, you're building a lasting business. The fact that we were able to get to $200,000 in revenue on no money, being grad students, we did a lot with nothing. OSAP wasn't willing to lend us any more to build a business. But what the money is really dedicated for is expanding these pilot studies both to other seniors' homes, but to other markets, like how does horticultural therapy fit with youth who don't know where their food comes from, or with food banks. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope you can give us this prize. Thank you.
Okay, so great job. My question is around the design of it. So Is this the only shape that it comes in? And also, how do we assemble it, or who assembles it? How does that work in the home?
Yes, so this is currently the only size we have. But what we've done is we built the backbone that runs it to be transmittable to other sizes. So we're currently working on one about half the size. It actually comes fully assembled. And that was something we did consciously. there are actually a lot of hidden moving parts in there, and we wanted it to fit that easy to use, easy to install ethos of the product. So it's pretty much unwrap it, fill up the water, plant your plants, and you're good to go.
Does the light stay on 24 hours a day?
No, it doesn't. It stays on 18 hours generally, and we can change that depending on how it fits your lifestyle. Okay. And then there's also manual overrides in there.
Right.
So in case you've got it beside your TV and you want to watch a movie, so you can switch it off without a problem.
Thanks.
Connor, thank you so much and the best of luck.
Thank you.
When we come back, more from the Age Well National Impact Challenge. That's next.
So it gives us some insight into who this person is very quickly, and how we might have a better care experience, and also what not to do.
Welcome back. I'm here with more from the Age Well National Impact Challenge. Okay, now I'm here with Jennifer Krull and Dominique Williams from Emmit Rose. And what have you got for us?
So we have software that supports teams that work with persons with dementia. So we'd like you all to imagine for a moment that you are personal support workers, and this afternoon you are required to go and provide some personal care to a resident client or patient, wherever they may reside, in their home, in a long-term care, or in a hospital. This person has dementia, and they're a new patient, client, or resident to you. You may have been provided some information from a chart or not, and in that chart you might have some basic demographics, perhaps a list of medications, and maybe a list of some other health concerns. But we know the more that we know about a person, the better able that we are to provide support and good care. We know that person-centered care is very important, and yet there are very few tools available that actually do this. Emmit Rose has responded by designing MemorySparks Connect, a platform that enhances connectivity and connection, and therefore care.
Available on a computer, tablet, or smartphone, MemorySparks Connect is a secure online tool that care teams, including family members, can use to collaborate and share information about a care recipient's day, life, and health. It includes in-the-moment chat and content update notifications to keep everyone informed. MemorySparks Connect is really about leveraging unique insights to create a shared record of personhood. So care team members can add information about a care recipient's past experiences, occupations, family members, friends, preferences, and also approaches to care. The individual themselves, the care recipient, can also be included in what we call the circle of care, and they can add content to the tool as well if they feel comfortable doing so. This personhood information can make a real difference in the care experience, particularly for people who are not able to tell their own story. So consider Ralph. Ralph is living with dementia in a care community, and he has been groping at the chests of his care providers. This is isolating for him. He's labeled as a groper, and also the female care staff approach him with caution. This continues until a family member shares a useful insight. Ralph used to be a cardiologist. He's not groping. He actually believes that he's examining people in a clinical setting. When he's provided with a stethoscope, his relationships with his care providers improve significantly. So MemorySparks Connect actually enables this type of insight to pass between care team members quickly and efficiently.
In North America alone, there are over 60,000 home care and residential organizations. The standard of care for these organizations is to have person-centered care strategies in place, and this is really driving the demand for more tools in this area. MemorySparks Connect is the right product at the right time. Our goal at Emmit Rose is to be able to put MemorySparks Connect in the hands of the residents and the teams that need it the most. We would use the AgeWell Award to be able to allow publicly funded facilities access to our product. So I'm logging in, I'm part of a care circle, and I would have been invited to this care circle. And if I was a personal support worker, such as we were pretending to be today, it would list all of the people that I am supporting or I'm part of their care circle. Today we're going to click on Etta Taylor, and it defaults to our day portion of the app, and this is bi-directional, so people can add, this is the day portion, they can add audio, video, photographs, and text about what is happening that day for that person. So if it was in a home care situation, they could let them know that they're coming in and providing some kind of care. Maybe they're running late. Maybe something happened in a long-term care home that they would like to share to families or other care providers. If we go to the top where the hamburger is, we can go to the life album. So today we talked about being a personal support worker and having a new resident not really knowing anything about that person. The app comes with several albums already preloaded that people can add to, and they can add this from wherever they are in real time. What we might have wanted to access today, because we didn't know anything about our patient walking in the door, is quick tips. So it gives us some insight into who this person is very quickly and how we might have a better care experience, and also what not to do so that we're not triggering someone that maybe has dementia and might become anxious or upset. If we had more time, perhaps we could access one of the other albums in the life section, such as the family, and we can use this as part of the intervention with the person with dementia as well. So not only does it provide us with a lot of information, but if someone was becoming upset or anxious during something like personal care or at any time of the day, we can talk to them about what we might find in their life album.
Okay, let the judges ask their questions.
I spent my whole adult life in the IT world. And I've been in long-term care for 6.5 years. But I admire what you're working on, but you've got a tremendous task to overcome.
Yes, we agree. And we've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. This product is actually, now the person with dementia or a resident could use it if they wanted to be involved in that circle of care. Absolutely. It's fairly, if I can use it, Bill, anybody can use it. But it's actually for staff and family members as well. So we've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. You know, adding a photo or something like that is simply a couple of clicks, and the same with video and audio.
This was actually co-designed, the design was co-designed with people living with dementia, and we were actively engaging with people about the usability of the product.
Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, AgeWell will announce the winner of the competition. That's next.
In a previous episode of theZoomer, we discussed freedom of speech. Jack wrote on Twitter, "If we as Canadians want to develop as a beacon of light in the world, we must lead the way by holding our freedom of speech more highly. Hashtag free speech." In another episode of theZoomer, we spoke about seniors' health care. On Facebook, Philip writes, "Checkups with my doctor through video calling, now that I'm retired, is an incredible idea. I still struggle to find time in my busy schedule to see my doctor, but with this technology, now I can." Keep the comments coming in and connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and via email at rsvp@zoomermedia.ca. Don't forget, for free tickets to the show, go to www.universe.com and search Zoomer Media, and log on to www.thezoomertv.com for full episodes and more.
Welcome Welcome back to theZoomer. It's now time to announce the winner of Age Well's National Impact Challenge Toronto competition. And Michael, you have the envelope.
And the winner is Bicep.
Thank you very much.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow, this is unbelievable. Wow, this is just like, it's overwhelming. But the first thing I want to say is, let's forget about this. Let's give an applause for all the other competitors out there. They all had amazing, amazing ideas. And I think our goal as Ontario and as Canada is to make the entire nation very accessible. So all their innovations are extremely unbelievable. And I really wish them all the best and success. In regards to this, I mean, there's a couple people I want to thank first. First and foremost, my wife and my parents, who are in the audience too, for supporting me along this dream the entire time. As well as to my business partners in the audience too. And just everybody here. I mean, it's like I said, this is just it's a dream come true, and I'll make sure that within the next few months, you're going to see the devices on market thanks to this. I want to thank all the judges. You guys have just your intellectual capabilities are just unbelievable, and the questions you ask for they're just so beneficial towards our future. And I want to thank AgeWell as well. I mean, just for allowing me to be here, and as well as Zoomer Hall. You guys did an amazing job with your production. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and yeah, just overwhelmed. Thank you. I need my towel.
Congratulations to our winner. He will join other regional winners as they present their award-winning products at AgeWell's annual conference, where the theme is Exploring the Future of Technology and Aging. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you soon. It's time to zoom out.